She was just such a force physically, and now she's an absolute force where she is now because she was left no doubt in any of us that we continue to be and that she continues to be. And as much as we miss her physically, knowing that she's okay and that we're all going to be okay has been a really profound shift in the time that we have on this planet.
Hi, I'm Becky Bradley, and this is the Feel Good Always podcast. I'm here today with Kristen Murphy. She's a driving force behind the formation of the Keira Bradley Foundation. She has been a part of this journey from the very beginning, helping to turn unimaginable pain into purpose and walking alongside me through countless moments of divine orchestration. In this conversation, we share profound synchronicities and undeniable signs, connections that left absolutely no doubt in Kristen's mind that not only do we continue on after this life, but there is so much more going on here than we can fully understand. And make sure you listen all the way to the end, where I'm going to share some more signs and connections that happened as soon as we stopped recording, because of course, there's always more. If you are listening, I don't believe it's by accident. I know you will hear something today that you're meant to hear, something to remind you that we are all guided, supported, connected, and always invited to feel good always. So let's begin. Hi, I'm Becky Bradley, and this is the Feel Good Always podcast, real stories of love, connection, and remembering who we are. I'm here with Kristen Murphy, Quinn's mom. That's who you are, right?
That's who I am.
You're
Yes.
Quinn's mom. So I introduce you as Quinn's mom because aren't we all? I'm Kira's mom. We for a long time, we've had a lot of experiences together over the last year and a half, really profound experiences that we will be sharing here today. And I tell a lot of people about you, and I always talk about you as Quinn's mom, but you do have a name.
Kristen. Yes,
Yeah,
I do have my own name,
You
but
do have
yes,
your own name.
I do answer to Quinn's mom as well.
Yes. A lot of people know you as Quinn's mom. So here she is. So for those that don't know who Quinn is, so my daughter Keira, this whole podcast has been born out of my daughter Keira transitioned in a fatal accident, and which was very soul crushing. And but what happened out of that is that I was able to really connect with her, and she has led me to do this and to have these conversations with people. And Quinn is one of Kira's best friends, and that's how the two of us have been brought together. And before we get into you and I talking, I just want to share for anybody that's listening, when this happened with Keira, I was just so distraught. Obviously, before this, I never had any experience really thinking about signs, or maybe a little bit, but the afterlife, any of that kind of stuff, believing that this kind of connection was possible. And so what ended up happening is, after that, when I started getting all of these signs and connections, I started to that door opened a little bit. And so I started listening to podcasts, and I started reading books and maybe watching YouTube videos about different things, just to open the door to the possibility. And I think that our human minds want to shut it off and not believe that it's true. And so if you're somebody that's starting to believe or think that this could be true, you're going to hear a lot here today to help open that belief, because we do have a lot of really profound things that have happened.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's beyond what either one of us previously understood to be possible.
Yes.
And clearly weren't looking for it. But when things happen to you, you just can't deny it. There's just no other way around it. It happened. And that's what I tell people is that, look, this is what happened. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you how. I'm just saying this happened. Do with it what you will.
And every time you share stuff with like that with people, it feels like they start seeing it too.
Absolutely.
It's like, I think sometimes I refer to it as like energy that's, or frequency. It's like almost contagious. And so if you're one of those people, wow, like
be ready because we've had thousands of things happen to us. I don't even know exactly what we're going to share today because there's been so much and there's no way we could do it in one podcast. But there is going to be some pretty profound, like, undeniable experiences. And this isn't just you and I mean, this is possible, I believe, for everyone. So before we get to talking about these things, I did I wrote a little bio for you. And I love doing this because I just am surrounded by these really amazing people, and you're one of them. And so I'm going to read it. Okay. This is Kristen Murphy. I usually refer to her as Quinn's mom. And she and I didn't really know each other before Keira transitioned, but something shifted after that. She became one of the first people to show up to my house after that, really fateful day, checking in, reaching out, doing anything she could do to help. And what unfolded between us was this deep soul level connection that I honestly felt coming before it really even started. I knew there was something about you and about Quinn, even like lots of people were checking in on me, but I was like, there's something about Quinn and Quinn's family. So there were so many signs connecting Keira and Quinn and Kristen and I. There's too many to count. We could probably do a ton of episodes on all these signs and synchronicities. But what has been so powerful is the way that Kristen has helped carry Keira's Feel Good Always mission forward. You're one of the driving forces behind starting the Keira Bradley Foundation, and you continue to pour your heart into this from day one, turning your pain into something much bigger and having these really profound experiences of being guided by Keira and what to do next. I'm not done. Almost. It's so good. And here's something kind of funny. We do these bios and a lot of times they're professional. I have no idea what you do professionally, and I love that so much. We talk about this all the time. What do you do for work? I have no idea what you do, because I've never asked, and I think it's kind of beautiful because what you do in the world is so much bigger than your career. I'm sure whatever you do for your career, you carry into your career also. But when I look at people and I don't really care what you do for work. I do care, but I'm just like, I want to know so much more about you. And it's how you show up for people. It's how you keep growing and questioning and loving, even in the face of deep pain, racism, injustice, and how you have faced this and had to watch your children face this, and how you teach your daughters to be courageous and confident, to stand tall and to see the good in people, and your example of what is possible in the mission to feel good always. Mm-hmm. So today I'm not introducing you to someone because of their title or their job. I'm introducing you to someone because of their soul. Kristen is a truth teller, a healer, a mama, a dear friend and soul sister, and most of all, a powerful force for good. I'm so grateful she's here. And of course, she was always going to be here because I believe we are soul family who have been brought together at this time to do the work we are doing in the world.
That is fantastic and so much better than anything that I would have written about myself. So thank you.
It's all so true. And even as I read it, I think about Keira bringing you into my life ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And of course, her and Quinn connected in the way that they did because you have all of these really amazing things about you, and they could see that in each other. Quinn and Keira could see that in each other, and they became friends about a year and a half before Keira transitioned, and it makes sense, that they found each other. Not only here on Earth does it make sense, but we've seen beyond that. So if you want to start off like talking about your connection to Keira, it could be, when you met her or anything that you want to say about that. That's because obviously we're here to have that part of the conversation to start there.
Yes, absolutely. And for the rest of it to make sense, I think we probably do need to start about our kiddos and how quickly and deeply they fell in love. I just remember Quinn coming home And oh, this is hard to say without a lot
Yeah,
of
I'm
emotion in
already,
my
I could
voice.
feel it.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's okay.
Whew.
Part of feeling good always is feeling.
All of it. But she just connected with her in a very loving way, and she doesn't always. It just caught my attention because most of my daughter's friends she had since she was 5, and she just Keira, like everything that she would say about Keira is the best, and she loved her soul. And how Keira had a very deep sense of self and justice and responsibility that can't be found in a lot of teenagers.
Mhm.
And it shouldn't strike you as odd because we should all have that. But Keira had it in spades. And she struck me as a little adult. Like when she spent a weekend with us, and like she was 15 at the time, and she had coffee with me. I had never had that experience of, oh, you want to have morning coffee? Okay, well, let's have coffee together and talk. And she was so comfortable immediately with our family, and I love that. And another, interesting thing is, Quinn's very close to her family, but a lot of our family got to know Keira. Like my mom happened to stay that weekend with her, so she got to know my mom. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law took the girls paddleboarding, so they got to have time with her. Like she got to know all of us pretty quickly, which was beautiful. And in hindsight, it's just, of course, that weekend there was so much going on. So yeah, so it's just everything, the way that she cooked, the way that she would make her feta tomato pasta. And most people, kind of just bake it and mix it together, but Keira puts it in the blender first because that gets the flavor through better. So Quinn, like, this is the Keira way. So we do it Keira style. So everything about her just kind of touched our family and our hearts. And yeah, they just immediately had this soul bond. I think the story Quinn tells is that I believe their freshman year it was Spirit Week, and I should have asked her to confirm, but I think Keira had gone to school in a dress, in like a big pink, or was it a blue? A big blue, like dress up, like
she wore a
prom dress
yeah.
to
she
school.
Looked like Cinderella on Blue Day.
On
it was
Blue Day.
blue, and she had a cowboy hat on. She was she was making herself known, which wasn't really totally her personality always, but I think, yeah. And looking back, it's like she was doing it big, and she let the anxiety of it go, and she was like, I'm just doing it.
She just did it.
And then everybody
knew her and got to know her and love her from day one. So yeah, our girls just were really good. And also Quinn's not a person who's great one-on-one with people, but Keira was the exception. Like she would be like, oh, can I have Keira over outside of a group? And I said, I thought you don't like one-on-ones. And she said, no, Kira's different. It's different with Keira. And it probably because of the soul bond, she just always felt like an exception to the rule and like a soul sister to her. So, and now we go to the other hard part, which is when I got the news of what happened, and honestly, the night that it happened, it was weird because I'm a very light sleeper. Anything wakes me up. And the morning after it happened, I saw my phone and I had a bunch of missed calls. And I'm sitting here thinking, how did I sleep through all of this? And I called the mother back who was trying to get in touch with me. And she told me what had happened the night before. And, in hindsight too, I was hung up on a long time about how I would have reacted if I had known that night. And I wasn't supposed to know.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to know. So,
like, because you would have gone there, or
I would have gone to your house is where I would have gone.
Yeah.
I would have gone to you.
Yeah. Which is, that part's really interesting too.
Yes.
How you just felt this magnetized to me, even though at the time you and I aren't even, we've had a couple conversations.
Didn't matter because I just wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
And that's just my mama heart and unfathomable. Like,
yeah.
You're supposed to come home from a 16th birthday party. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we reflect back on that time differently now, being in the space we are now that everything unfolded as it had to. But, waking Quinn up from sleeping to tell her that one of her favorite people on this earth is you went to sleep and everything was fine, and you're waking up and your world's not the same.
Yeah.
It's really like, as a mother and an adult, you know how to process and you've experienced things, but to guide your children through something that deeply painful, it's a lot. And there's no good answers, there's no fixing it. Like, I go straight to fix it mode. How do we make this better? This can't be real. How do
Yeah.
we fix it? But there's no fixing it. You just have to live through it. And after that, the first night, I guess, is where we start to go to the profound change and looking at things through a spiritual lens, and that there's more going on than what we can see and process. Because the night that Keira left us was one of the most insane thunderstorms that
Yeah.
any of us to this day have experienced. It kept coming, and it was loud, and the whole sky was lit up purple. Um, I've never in my 47 years experienced anything like that. And it just felt like, at a soul level, you knew that this was her. Like, it just felt like this isn't nature, this is what's happening for all of us. And it just felt like a culmination of all of the emotion, all of the turmoil. And how else do you explain it but through thunder and lightning and rain? And it was really, it was a lot. Like, I had slept with Quinn that night because she didn't want to be alone. And um, she had finally fallen asleep, and she just woke up and she just said, "Who's doing that?" Because she was halfway out of it. Like, this is real. This is nature. It's thunder. So that was the first moment of, confirmation and a little hello from the other side is what it felt like. Um, and personally, I've never experienced what we're going to get into, but I've always believed in and the other side, that we don't just end. There is life continues, love continues. Didn't know as clearly what that might look like, but that was the discussion that I had been raised with, that I've always had with my daughters, and I've had small connections and winks from the other side from, grandparents, knowing that they're okay. But it's one thing when it's someone who you expect to exit your life before you, but it's a whole different thing when it's a 15-year-old girl, you know? And like I've said to other people, like, you never expect it to be the little girl who dances in your kitchen, who added brownies to her crepes in the morning because they needed a little crunch. She was just such a force physically, and now she's an absolute force where she is now, because she was left no doubt in any of us that we continue to be, and that she continues to be. And as much as we miss her physically, knowing that she's okay and that we're all going to be okay has been a really profound shift in the time that we have on this planet.
So the thunderstorm, I don't even remember it, but I have heard lots of people. I mean, I couldn't.
Yeah, you were out of your body.
I was out, yeah. But I heard a lot of people talk about that it was like people were on social media talking about it being the biggest thunderstorm they'd ever heard in Placer County. And
Yeah,
of course, now that I see and have had all these experiences, like, something really big was happening at that time. And that was like the beginning. And we started having pretty profound experiences right away with connection. When I think about my connection to you. Of course, I had all these people connecting with me, lots of people. I'm so thankful. I remember every morning I would wake up with so many texts from people checking in on me. And you were one of those people, but a lot of people were.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you, but you were one of those people. And you were one of the people, for whatever reason, that I would respond back to. And I actually was looking through our texts, kind of preparing for this conversation. I was looking for the angel pattern, but I was looking and just like, it's just interesting to see those, because I'm sharing signs with you that are happening immediately within days. I'm texting you the signs, which is interesting because you and I aren't even that close, but I'm sending them to you, which makes more sense now. And I'm just like, this is so painful. I hate it all. And look at this. I was sharing thing after thing after thing. And I remember one morning I woke up, it was January 11th. So we were talking not even a month later. And we went outside, or my husband went outside, Mike, and he said, come look at this. So I had frost. There was like 8 cars parked at my house because everybody was staying there. And only on my car window and Abby's car window, there was this pattern that literally looked like, now I think of it as like angel feathers, but it was this feathered pattern. And I had sent that to you. No, you text me kind of right at the moment after we saw it, and I sent you a video of it. And then
went outside, and I don't know why, but I wanted to just go look just to check. And I went outside, and Quinn wasn't driving yet, but we had a car for her, and look outside, and the exact same pattern is on her windshield, which was crazy. And I've never seen anything like that in my life. I never saw it before, haven't seen it since, but they matched exactly, which I think that's when that was the first of the connected things, I think, started happening, where parallel things would happen between our homes. And it felt divine. It felt like a sign. And it was mind blowing. And even if there is like some kind of scientific cause that the dust, blah, 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 causes that, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a clear message. It's a sign. We had another car parked outside. It also didn't have it. It was just on Quinn's car. And as the day warmed up, 20 minutes later, it was gone.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't texted me at that point, it doesn't matter if it wouldn't have been there when I came out later on. So that was the first, like, really clear, okay, something is happening here.
The connection between you guys and us.
Yes.
And this is how we were starting to be shown this. And there's been a lot of those things. I will share, I'm going to put in the show notes a link to those videos, because most people that have seen it, they're like, I've never seen anything like that. Of this angel pattern, and that it was just on my car. It was also on Abby's, that was just on the podcast, and it was on Quinn's car. And then later, it's not till 6 months later, something told me to go look at those videos, which is a whole nother thread, which, it can't get into every single thread. But what I did notice that day was that it was January 11th. At the time, I didn't realize it was January 11th, which is 111. And this is before I'm really realizing this angel number connection of 111, 222. A lot of things were done on days like that, but it's like looking back, I could see it, but I couldn't see it then. So another thing, when I talk about like our family being like a soul family, Quinn was like, I know you can share it, the part where you said like how she felt about our family.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's true. It wasn't just Keira, it was all of you. And I think when she got through the haze of the news I just broke to her, all she kept saying is, but Becky, but Mike, but her family. I love her family, but she has the best family. She was concerned about losing you guys. Like,
yeah.
All of it was am I going to lose the Bradleys? And she just couldn't lose you because she kept saying over and over again, I can't lose them. I can't lose them. And she hasn't.
No, she hasn't. And what's
Yeah.
interesting about this and this whole divine orchestration and connection and soul family thing is that I often say Keira had like 40 best friends.
Mm-hmm.
She really did. She had a lot of friends. So there were so many girls in and out. Quinn was definitely, even when I looked through the text, I could see Quinn, 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 because I searched Quinn's name to
Oh.
find something, and I could share those with you later. But it's like, here's like Quinn, 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 Quinn. There was lots of talk about Quinn from Keira, but I hadn't felt like this really super close connection with Quinn at this point. I mean, she had been in my house, but so were like 20 other girls in and out, and they had just become friends. I mean, I liked Quinn. Now I'm very close to Quinn because Quinn was always going to be somebody, I believe she was always going to be somebody that was coming in. But I think too that when you come in as like together, like soul family, that I believe that's why she felt that deep connection to us too. Because my children, Tyler and Maddie, also felt that connection to Quinn. I remember Maddie, and they love all of her friends, but that real deep connection to Quinn without really knowing her that well. And of course, we all are very close now, but before. And so Maddie and Quinn go on a hike together. After maybe a month or two later, they decide to go on a hike together. And on their hike, um, you weren't there, right?
I was at home. I wasn't there. Maddie came and picked her up, and it was a torrential downpour too. So I wasn't sure if they were going to go because the weather was terrible. And I was thinking, who goes hiking in this weather? But
we
okay,
do.
you do. And I'm looking for a rain slicker or something for Quinn so she doesn't get drenched. And I asked her, I said, do you want to go? She said, no, I don't care. I just want to go. I need to be outside. I just need to go. And she just really, really needed to be with Maddie. She needed to be with her, and she needed to be connecting and outside of our four walls and just to move. And I don't even think that she knew that at the time, but what we've talked about a lot is how energy needs to be moved, and I think her grief needed to be moved at that time too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the girls go out on, and there's lightning too, so they weren't quite sure if that was a great idea. But yeah, they're out hiking together, and then they spot a bald eagle while they're out there, and a double rainbow, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which was this fabulous double rainbow over the lake, which felt like,
bald eagle flies under a double rainbow when Quinn and Maddie are together. It's like those kind of things where you're like, okay,
yeah, why not?
So that we can kind of look back and see all of these things. And it's like piecing it together. And now I just trust so much, and I can see and the connection. So I think I shared a little bit of this story on a podcast recently, but I want to share it here because you have your side of it, right? From your side. But so 3 months after Keira transitions, I go to Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium. I have never really paid attention to mediums before this. I actually don't want to connect with my daughter in this way. I do want to connect to her, but I don't want a medium. I don't know. I just had this knowing that I didn't need a medium. I knew she existed. I think mediums are great for letting people believe that this is true. But for me at the time, I just didn't want it to be true. But what happens is that I get a knowing that I'm supposed to go. I didn't know why. I just knew I was supposed to go. And so, and at this time I was not well, I was not well. I mean, you're talking I think it was 3 months, and I end up showing up there. And then on the way there, I had told my friend Michelle, I said, I think I'm going to connect with Jazzy and Quinn. I think they're going to be somebody that I connect with. And I just kind of out of the blue said that. At this point, I've been talking to you. I haven't talked to the girls at all because I can't. It's heartbreaking to even think of them. They came to my house once. The girls all came. Maddie invited them over, but I left because I literally could die having to watch these children in my house without Keira there. I thought I couldn't believe my heart continued to beat. And so I say this on the way to Teresa Caputo to my friend. I think I'm going to connect with Jazzy and Quinn. And this is, remember, she has 40 friends, but those two specifically in my mind. And then you have your side of it.
Yeah, my side of it is interesting because I had gone to see Teresa Caputo a couple of times, and my girlfriend and I tend to go together because she has someone on the other side as well. And there's always that hope for connection. So this time, her husband actually bought her 4 tickets instead of 2 tickets. Normally, it's just the two of us. And she had asked me who I wanted to bring, and I told her, those are your tickets, so you decide. And she just said, I'm just not feeling like I don't know. And then Quinn is just hovering around me all day, like, oh, who's going with you? Who's going with me? And pecking. And of course, it's something that most people wouldn't bring your grieving 15-year-old child to. I had to roll around in my mind, is this too heavy? Is it appropriate? And these are not my tickets still. So finally, towards the end of the day, she says, look, can I go? So I asked my friend, I said, do you mind if I bring Quinn? And she said, no, absolutely. If she's ready, she can come. And then it popped into my head, so why don't we ask Jazzy's mom if she wants to go too? Because I think
that's
that
where our energy connected.
It's where it connected. Yes. And this was not planned weeks, months ahead of time. This was a hours ahead of time decision. So I did prep Quinn, and I just said, look, people don't go to these things because it's a good time on a Friday night. You're going there because you want to hear from someone, and there are thousands of people attending. So I just need you to protect your heart a little bit going into this, that it's very unlikely that we will be able to get through and hear from Keira. So she said, no, I just want to go. I just want out of the house. Let's go. So the 4 of us ladies go, and we get there, we get into the auditorium, we get into our seats, and we're sitting there waiting for it to start. And I look over to my right, and I'm not wearing my glasses. Everyone who knows me knows that Kristen can't see distance. But I look down, and 5 people down and 1 row, there's Miss Becky Bradley. And I'm sitting there going, I think that's Becky, because I can't see. I think that's Becky. And I told Jen, I said, I think that's Becky. And she says, no, you're wrong. I'm like, no, it's Becky. And then you kind of looked over at us. And at the time, your look was like, no, thank you.
I didn't see you.
You didn't see us?
No.
Okay. I thought you saw us.
No. I didn't notice you till later.
I
had no idea.
Okay,
I was
so
so out of it.
You must have just glazed right over.
Yeah.
I never saw, you didn't have that recognition look. And that's where we're like, we're going to go ahead and leave Becky alone. But
you had to point at me.
Okay.
For me to notice you.
That's when you,
I was probably out of my body. I mean,
I'm sure.
It's just a horrible experience.
Yeah.
I mean, why am I here? The fact that I'm here for my 15-year-old daughter, all of that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just soul crushing, just not good.
Yes.
But there I sat. Yes. Because what else am I going to do?
But also, I think looking at you, there was a knowing of something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because this is, I knew, I hoped, that was the first time. This can't be coincidence, right? Like, this is an auditorium of 4,000 people. And if you were 2 more rows up or 2 rows behind, like, we would have never seen.
But we were right next
to each other. And how does that happen?
Yeah.
So then we're sitting there, and Teresa comes out, she does her thing, and then she starts, the show's about hour and a half long. And I know from your point of view, it was, you had some connections there, but we had.
Yes. From my point of view, the first people to go, I heard kind of like it was a knowing. I don't hear a voice. It comes from inside. It's a thought. That's Brittany's parents. And I don't know. Brittany's parents are someone I know. I know that her brother had transitioned. I'd never met them. Anyways, yes, the next day it turns out that it was Brittany's parents. So I do believe it's like telepathic. I'm hearing things, I'm knowing things that I wouldn't know. So they went first, and then some more people went.
Yes.
And then I did know if before she started to come through, I knew she was going to come through because I felt it.
You felt, yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah,
I
the
was
energy.
like, she's about to come through. And I ignored when she came through because I did not want to stand up.
Yes. And that was the thing. So you have to stand up, and she starts reading. And the other thing was, we were in the second section of the auditorium. There's floor seats. Then you start going up, and we were halfway up that. So during this whole hour and a half, she had only maybe moved 6 rows down the floor seats. So we're sitting here thinking, oh no, we're running out of time. And she's nowhere near us physically. This isn't going to happen. So the 4 of us link hands and started meditating, praying,
Wow.
calling in. I don't think we've talked about this.
No.
Calling Keira in so we would have the experience, because we were thinking we're running out of time. As soon as we do that, Teresa starts heading up our direction, and she starts bringing in asking who connects to the young girl. And there were ladies right next to us to put their arms up, and they said, oh, we think this is for us. And she asked the ladies, who is it? And they said, our mother. And she said, no, how old's your mother? And they said, oh, she was 45. They said, no, young girl. And she was very adamant, who connects to a young girl?
She kept asking.
And
I knew it was Keira, but I was
Yeah.
not standing up.
So Quinn stands up, because Quinn had the aisle seat.
Yeah.
And Quinn, and we were all kind of, I think we all immediately started crying. And she said, is this someone that you lost recently? And Quinn told her, it's been 3 months since she
Yeah.
transitioned. And she looks at her and she said, tell me about the jewelry. And Quinn says, I'm wearing Kira's earrings.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know that. She didn't tell me. And
Yeah.
she was there wearing Kira's earrings. And then Teresa also said to Quinn, when you're connected, it was like this. And she snapped her fingers. And that was exactly like we were just talking about. It was instant. Their bond was instantaneous. And all of that was super accurate. And then Quinn says, oh, yes. And then her mom is right there, and
Yeah.
points to Becky.
And by this time, I've already seen you guys because you're pointing at me. And from my perspective, I just couldn't believe it was real.
Yeah.
I'm watching Quinn crying, talking about Keira, and I'm like, wait, what?
Mhm.
Like, that was a lot of the grief and the pain. It's like, wait, she's talking about Keira over and over, this constant, like, she's talking about Keira. I mean, I'm still like, before we got there, was like, I think I should connect with Jazzy and Quinn. And I turn as Teresa Caputo comes up, and there's Jazzy's mom, Quinn's mom, and Quinn. And I've also, so I was just, it was, it's like, when I talk about Feel Good Always, it's a mixture. So you've got this intense feeling of like, I can't believe that I'm actually being asked to do this as a mother. And then I end up standing up, and she brings in, I mean, we could go on and on. I don't about all of the evidence.
But the first thing she said that was profound, I thought, was when she came to us and looks at where we're seated.
Yeah.
And then she said to all of us, she said, did you come together? And we say no. Did you know that each other was going to be here? And we say no. And then she says, do you think this is a coincidence?
Mhm.
And then, of course, we say no. And she said, good, because there are no coincidences.
Yeah, which is what we say all the time now.
Now we say it all the time.
There's no coincidences.
Yes.
And so that happens. She does a 20-minute reading. It was really beautiful for Quinn, too. A lot of times I say, like, I know how much that, because she brought forth so much evidence. She talked about different things she brought things through that Quinn knew about. Thankfully, Quinn was there, because everything Teresa asked me, I was like, no. And Quinn's like, no, remember, you did this. You just did this,
Yeah.
So the other, really, I'm just going to share this part really quick, because for me, so I've got Brittany's parents, I've got you guys sitting there, and then the person sitting next to me, once I sit down after a 20-minute reading, she puts her hand on me and she said, you're Keira's mom. And I said, yes, who are you? Because I knew I recognized this person from somewhere, but I didn't know from where. And she was the woman. She was like, I put on Keira's service. And of course, I'm in a daze. Like, this woman put on Keira's service, but like, count me out, okay? Because I don't remember. I remembered her face, but I mean, that's how out of it I was. Anyways, she had booked the ticket. She said, I don't even remember booking this ticket. I looked this morning on my email and I had a email saying that I booked a ticket. She's like, I'm a devout Christian. This is like, we don't do this. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I asked my husband, he was like, God's trying to show you something. And so I came and I prayed in the car, like, show me what you need to show me, God. And then now I'm sitting right next to you. And it was that moment. So there was, Brittany's parents. I find out the next day. Yes, in fact, it was Brittany's parents. There was me saying Jazzy and Quinn ahead of time. Then you're there. There's obviously all of the evidence that Teresa Caputo, but it was really this woman sitting next to me in a room full of 5,000 people on top of everything else that I was like, what? And everybody was in awe of what they saw, but what everybody they didn't see was that. And I think that was the beginning, really. I mean, so many profound things that happened already, but that was like this is big. It's not only proving that that Keira exists beyond physical death. It was being able to move people that, like almost like co-creating with the universe and people to bring people to me to show me how big it was. And so that was really a big opening for me. I mean, it does not mean that I was like, oh, things are great. But it was that what I talked about earlier, it was that beginning of this belief. And to really, even if you see what I'm doing today, the work I'm doing in the world, it's like I get so much nonstop confirmation that my ego steps aside and I just say it. I know that people are going to show up, and that's how you showed up. And we have other stories. There's so many. There's so many things.
But also, the weirdness and how I think you and Quinn kind of co-created that moment.
Yes.
The way that you would bounce, like you said, if something wasn't jogging for you, then how were those specific things that Quinn happened to know? Because it could have been so easy that she brought up things that Quinn wasn't aware of. But every single one of them, when you had a blank space,
which was
Quinn
often
filled it in, because you were out of your body, but she was there. She said, no, this is what that is. Yeah. Your footprints. Yes. But remember, you went to Kiwi Court, and this is what
she asked about handprints. I had no idea what she was talking about. And Quinn was like, remember the handprint from Kiwi Court, which is where we used to live? Or she was like, there's a tree, something in nature. And then I'm like, nope, don't know what you're talking about, to Teresa. And Quinn's like, remember you just made the nature mandala? And I'm like, okay. So thankfully Quinn was there because I was just kind of out of it. I mean, you're on the big screen. I also just know that Keira exists, so I didn't really care. But it's not that I didn't care. Oh, and another wild thing about that was the email you sent.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. So I knew that my friend and I were going. The other two seats were up for, I didn't know who, but I knew I was going. So I had been watching the Long Island Medium show the Friday night before, and then just kind of came to me this that I wonder if I could email her or get in touch to see if we could somehow get a private reading, pay for a private reading ahead of time, just because I really did not think we would have anything that happened at the event. So there was a form online. I started filling that out, and I had it all done, and I was going to submit it. And then all of a sudden my phone just starts deleting my message, like character by character, making a clicking sound, which each individual, and I couldn't stop it. It wouldn't go forward, just went click, 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 all the way through until there was no message left. And I felt that, okay, I guess I wasn't supposed to do that. At first I thought, I'm just going to do this over again, because I was determined. And then I just felt like I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to send this.
And you definitely were not supposed to.
I was not supposed to.
You definitely were not supposed to, because this wasn't just a reading. This wasn't just proving that, she had so many facts. She talked about things that happened between Mike and I an hour earlier. She talked about things that happened in my house the day before. It was not just proving that Keira was there speaking through Teresa to us. It was about showing that not only was she still existed and her energy could connect with other, mediums, it was that this ability to move people and places and things to show us how big this was.
Yes.
Had you sent that email, had this stuff happened ahead of time, my mind would have been like, well, of course we're all here. We all planned this. And so there was already a plan in place. And so the electronics wouldn't allow it, which I've had a lot of experience with that, where the electronics will delete something or, sense like, and now I just go, oh, okay, I guess I'm not supposed to be doing that. The other thing, so you and I end up in this like women's group on Sundays, like once a month, and we meet another woman there, and she's transitioning, she's transgender. So she and Keira kind of showed me her ahead of time. What happens for me is I get these themes coming in, and that couple of weeks it was transgender everywhere I went. It was showing me people that are transgender. I would be at the store, people would be talking about it, somebody would send me messages. I went to go to a new my friend's who she's a massage, she does massage, and I went to see her, and her son is transgender. Like the whole week, every day it was like transgender. And what was happening is that Keira would show me themes of pain in the world, and that happened to be the theme of that. It's not that I don't know the pain of the world. I think when I look at it now, and I was seeing school shootings was the theme, and or kids not being heard in school. It's like everywhere I go, it's like what I hear. And now I could pick them out. But specifically the transgender one, our friend invited us to Transgender Awareness Day. And not only that, I had a lot of signs and connections around it that we were supposed to do this. So you and I, along with her and Jazzy's mom, we all go to this celebration downtown for Transgender Awareness Day, which actually is really quite sad because it's people that have died. And I was just like, wow. But again, putting the feel in Feel Good Always, because it was this really tragic thing. They're listing these names of people, that have been murdered and
or exited because they didn't feel accepted,
yeah,
or they could go on because of their outside not matching their inside, and people not being okay with their individual experiences, that they weren't able to keep going, and that's heartbreaking.
Transitioning by suicide. So what happens though, we had a wild amount of high energy signs that day. It just started the second all of us got together, and just sign after sign after sign after sign. And so one of the really powerful experiences was we walk in there, we're a little bit late, and there are only 4 seats left, and we sit in the 4 seats. I'm starting to hear things. What happens is I'll start to hear the same words. It's like these signs are just everybody speaking. Within like 5 minutes, they start singing. And Somewhere Over the Rainbow is Keira's song. It's one she sends as a sign to lots of people. So we sit down, and maybe 5 minutes later, they start singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and they have us stand up. And we realize, I can't even, there's no words to describe this, but the 4 seats that were open are directly in front of the gay men's chorus, who is literally serenading us. Not only can we hear them singing Keira's song, we can feel it. The vibration, literally feel the vibration, because we've got 40 men, and I look back and I'm like, wow. And it's a powerful moment that all of us experienced together and continued. There were so many things that night that connected. And one of my favorites is the furries. So
we're going there.
We are going there. I love it because, okay, I have to back up a little bit. Several years ago, maybe late 2020, we're all locked down, maybe 21, I don't know. But we decide last minute we're going to Reno to hang out in a hotel. Like, this is actually kind of sounds like my nightmare. I like to be outside, but it's like, I don't know, cold outside, and the kids want to go to the Grand Sierra Resort. And we go and we show up, and it's a furry convention. And I was like, oh my gosh. And the kids are all laughing. And it ended up being a really interesting and fun experience, I thought, because we're just watching these people that are, furries dress up in costume. A lot of people might know they dress up in costume. There's more to it than that. I'm all about letting people be who they are. And it was interesting for us to watch. And we had like a really fun time that weekend, just kind of looking at all of the stuff. And the whole place was like 1,000 of furries kind of everywhere. And so that happened. And then the night of the transgender awareness, our friend asks us if we want to go to a bar afterwards. So we go to a gay bar and we show up, and we've already had like 50 signs by now, so many signs. And the whole place is a bunch of furries. And I look at you guys and I'm like, oh my gosh, Keira sent the furries. And our friend, not knowing any of this, says, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's never like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here tonight. Like, this has never happened. I'm like, well, of course. Yeah.
We're here on furry night.
Yep. We're here on furry night. And
bunch of middle-aged moms in our sweater sets. And
I am so in my element around everyone. I was like, this is amazing, but it is fun to watch other people squirm. I was just like, this is awesome. And so, it's fun to watch. And these people are happy being themselves. And
totally. Yeah.
So what was interesting about that, the reason that I bring that up is at this point, you and I have realized we're soul family, we're connected. None of this is coincidence. We were always coming together here at this time. And Keira was showing us so many connections, whether it's the windshield or it's, I think of something and you've just thought of it. You get a sign, I get a sign. They happen at the same time. The furry thing too. So I have told you already that the whole furry connection and this weekend that we go to the Grand Sierra Resort.
Yeah.
And we had gone in 2020, long before I even met you guys. We don't meet till 2022, maybe 23. And on the way home, so this is the part that was, you had talked to Rod and...
Yeah, well, I was sitting here thinking about your story about the Grand Sierra and the furries and all that. And something is really familiar about this. And my memory, I'm trying to jog it. And then it hits me. I'm like, oh, wait, I remember my husband and my youngest daughter were in Reno staying at the Grand Sierra for a soccer tournament. And I remember him talking about furries being all over the hotel and trying to explain to her what was going. Oh, it's like a costume convention.
Yeah.
And it hits us that, oh my gosh, our families were at the same hotel at the exact same time and had the same experience. Yes. So it's another way that it just showed us that our lives, again, have crossed paths without us being aware of it.
And then not only that, let's use the furries weren't only assigned for me that night as we were having all of these connections. They were assigned for you. And it's like this constant showing this like gigantic web. Like I think about it because I can see it all. I'm connected to you, but I'm also connected to so many other people. So I can kind of see it all. And I'm just like, we know we're all connected, but I see it and I can see, and for whatever reason, well, I know the reason I get shown like, yeah, there's so many things, like it's not a coincidence. And not only were we both at that thing with the furries, it's used as a sign later, which was really funny. And that night was a lot of wild things happening. I want to talk also about the Keira Bradley Foundation. So one of the ways that I know that I would know that it wasn't me, that it was Keira, it doesn't feel like my idea. Even the Teresa Caputo thing, like I don't want to go, but I know I'm supposed to. At this point, I think maybe 6 months in, you guys are trying to talk to me, you and some of these other moms, but I don't want to be anywhere near you, really, because you are a reminder of everything hurts. And you're a reminder of what I don't have anymore. Your children are alive, mine is not. And I don't want to really hang out with you, but you guys keep inviting me. And I'm a big no. I don't ever see us ever being around each other. Like to help myself from having to feel even more pain. If I don't have to see you, then I can I'll be better. That's kind of what my mind said, but I kept hearing that I needed to say yes and then I needed to go be with you guys. And I did not like the thought. So I would go to yoga and I'd be practicing yoga and it would be like, go to the moms, go to the moms. And I was like, I don't want to. I feel like this whole experience has been a lot of I don't want to. I don't want to. And when it doesn't feel like my idea, it's very clear. And so I did say no. But this one time I end up saying yes. And I'm telling you, my heart could break, and I watch myself doing these things that are really, really hard. Like I'm literally going out to dinner. I don't want to. I don't want to. I am so done. I already was done long before this, having any conversation that has to do with anything other than like something really important. So I'm like, I don't want to go out to dinner with these moms. But I knew Keira was pushing me to go. So I go, and it's you and Jazzy's mom, and we call each other the magical moms now, and it's Blake's mom, and I love how I just call them, they don't have names. Victoria is Blake's mom, and Stella's mom. And Estella was the one that was with Keira. She held Keira, which is so freaking tragic and all of that. But so all of you guys are there and so worried about me. Had been worrying about me, almost not allowing yourself to have your own real pain because mine was so much bigger. I spent that day that I go talking about the signs and the connections, because at this point I've already had so much stuff happening. And it also was an opportunity to really talk to, I know I was supposed to be there because of the things that I was able to say. At this point, I kind of was like, oh, like I was hearing Keira say, it's you. Like you're going to actually have to help walk everybody back to the truth. It's you. You're going to have to help them. Not just you guys, but kind of like my parents, my best friends, everyone. I was at the center of this bomb going off, and it was like, no, it's you. You're going to have to tell them the truth about my existence and all of that, even though I was still in a lot of pain. But I did spend that night with you. Really, I remember, talking to one of the moms who had a lot of trauma. It was really clear. I don't want to hear about it.
Right.
I don't need to hear specifics. Like I know I can protect myself, but I can also on a higher plane understand what was happening here. And so I left there knowing I was supposed to go, knowing I said the things that I was supposed to say. And the next morning I'm sitting there. Now Keira has been sending ladybug signs. That's already been a big sign. And I tell Maddie, I know I was supposed to go. And I shared a lot of stuff with them. And as I said that, my dog brings out this ladybug stuffed animal right at that moment, like confirming this. I haven't seen this ladybug stuffed animal in months, but it must have been in the garage, and she brings it out. We're outside and brings it and lays it right in front of me. And I'm like, okay. And then I go inside, and within 2 minutes, I look at my text, and there's a group, and I'd been telling you guys about all of these profound things. I'd been telling you. I look at the group text, and there's a picture of the same ladybug stuffed animal, but it's at your house. So you can tell what happened.
Yeah, from my point of view, you came over for the first time. You've been to my house since it happened. And you were sitting on the couch before, and you were able, to interact and talk to us for 15, 20 minutes before we went to the restaurant. And we were there, and yeah, it was a good night out because we got you out and you were able to be around us, and we felt that too, and appreciated it. And then when I came home, I walked through the door and the couch is right there. And then staring at me is this ladybug toy that Quinn was given by a friend after Keira passed, as it was a sign. It never leaves her bed. It never leaves her room. I had never seen it outside of her bedroom, and it's just sitting there on the couch looking at me. And it just caught my attention, like, whoa, why is he here? So I asked Quinn, did you put him out here? She says, no. I asked my other daughter, did you do it? And she said, why would I do that? I asked my husband, and he also said, why would I do that? and the only other person is the dog, but he doesn't play with it. He doesn't play with toys that are not his. So, although, I mean, he's the only likely culprit. So, anyway, I just thought, wow, this thing is sitting exactly where Becky was. Exactly where Becky was. And it's this ladybug. And so I took a picture of it and texted out and to the mom said, thank you for a good night. And thank you for joining us, Becky. And wild, this ladybug's here. And then I get a text back from you with the exact same freaking toy.
Yeah, the same person that gave it to Quinn gave it to Lila.
Oh my, yeah.
And you're like, my dog brought this out, and I'm like, what I did is, and it literally happened within minutes, even though it happened the night before your text came through. I was able to send a picture back of the dog with the ladybug and be like, this is what I'm talking about. You've got your dog bringing out a ladybug. I've got my dog bringing out a ladybug, and it happens for me within minutes.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that happen. When I look back and I see how the Keira Bradley Foundation has happened, I had to say yes to that night. I had to say yes to being able to have this relationship with you guys. Keira knows what's happening. I just had to do what didn't feel right. But I would get those confirmations, like the ladybug and the dogs bringing out the ladybugs, and that's kind of how it is all the time. I get constant confirmation of like, this is the direction we're going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. And so with you and these magical moms, and we've experienced, I mean, we could just keep going on and on, so many things. But one of the really most amazing things is that you guys have all been like the backbone behind getting, you did multiple fundraisers before we even had the foundation going. And then we had this big Live Like Keira event that raised $40,000. And these magical moms, the moms who have just turned their pain into purpose, something really big, helping foster kids through the foundation, that there's just a master plan. And I could see it, all of you guys helping. And it's really only just begun. And like, we all have our roles and things to do. And then I'm always like, it's so much bigger than the foundation too. It's bigger than the podcast. It's bigger than our human minds could comprehend, the level of things that I have experienced. And it's like, how do you share this with people? It's a frequency. It's an energy. When people are listening, I remember thinking like, right before, like when I went to dinner with you guys, like you can feel it in your body. When I start to talk and share these things, it's like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I can feel it.
Yes. And honestly, it's been a lot of work and a lot of lift, but as you put things out there and as we start moving forward, there haven't been obstacles. Like everything just falls into place.
It's aligned.
Oh, we need a venue. One's donated. Oh, just everything in alignment in time that it just feels like it's meant to be, because clearly it is.
And I'm always the calm, like, guys.
Yes. We hit the panic mode. How are we going to get this done in time? And you just say, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. It's going to come together.
Not to discount.
And guess what? No, it's not. Honestly, it doesn't feel like discounting. It feels like reassurance.
Yeah.
And honestly, that we need to take the anxiety down a notch, because not the effort, but the anxiety.
Yeah.
Because it will be okay.
No matter what.
No matter what.
5 people could have showed up. I knew that wasn't
been fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. And to your point, it has been, putting pain into purpose to do greater things in the world, and even for Keira's friends to understand service too at a young age, and how you can impact other lives, and how Keira wants this for them too.
Yeah.
And she's always going to be part of.
Yeah.
Of course she did. All of them.
She said that, to have her friends help. So we're the last question I want to ask you, because this is the Feel Good Always podcast. And that is the message and the movement. And Keira actually came up with the words, spelled them right out. Feel good always. This is not something that I came up with. And it's evolved. And I know you've been through in this with me. You connect with Keira. We didn't even talk about that. You're very connected.
We'll do that another day.
Yeah, we could. But you easily connect with her also, and hear her, and all of that. My whole body has chills right now.
Yeah.
But what for you, what does it mean to feel good always?
Gosh, oh, that's a fantastic question. Honestly, I think feel good always comes down to trust and trusting the path and that there is a divine plan. And even when it doesn't feel good in the moment, then long term it will feel good. And we're all moving together towards a greater purpose and that it's okay. Like, even when it doesn't feel okay, it's going to be okay in the end. And, we're not to the end yet. We're on a journey together, but it is a guiding light in my life to feel good always and to trust, have faith, and lean on the plan and each other and your soul family.
Mhm.
And it's probably one of the most beautiful and profound messages that I've ever received, that we do need to feel good always and to truly let it in, let life in. The good, the bad, you have to let it in. You have to let it through you. You have to experience it. And, none of us are getting out of this alive. So let it in, grow, let your spirit grow, because that's why we're here. And if you don't learn the lesson this time, do you want to do it now or do you want to do it next time? Because I would rather do it now. So let's just go through it and power
next
through.
time.
Next time.
Both times.
Both times. Yeah. Until we get it, until the lesson is learned. So yeah, I do take that very much to heart and try to let it all in and know when these things happen, that try to look at it not just as the event, but the lesson in it. And I do that with my girls now too. When they hit these challenges, it's okay, so what have we learned? And instead of looking at it in a judging way, don't judge the person, don't judge the event, but what is the lesson in this? How do you grow? And then how do you move forward and continue to feel good? Always.
Mhm.
It's life. It's your path.
I love that. I love you sharing that. And I love that we're in this together learning. One of the things that Keira said to me when I asked her about the podcast, like, what am I doing? Because I knew I was supposed to do it. It said it's a resonance. Give people a place to find you, and then give you a place to find you. Like, it gives me a place to find me. And even just listening to you speak and share what feel good always means to you, it's just continuously teaching me, because I am on this path right alongside you. Trusting. Yeah. It's so much.
Mhm.
It's so much.
Yeah.
And I never could have ever pictured myself sitting here. I mean, what are we doing?
What are we doing? What?
This
I don't,
is
whatever.
crazy.
That's what, when
It's
you tell the stories,
magical.
like,
We
it's
don't
just
say
magical.
we don't say crazy anymore.
No,
I
it's
forget.
magical. Yeah, this is magical, but also like a parallel universe, because who would have thought we would be here?
We just never know.
You never know.
We just do the next thing.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't choose it, but this is where we are.
This is where we are.
We have to let it in, and
we planned this.
apparently
You and I, a
yes,
bunch of us,
a bunch of
and
us,
we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk to our higher selves about this.
Yeah, she's so extra, Becky Bradley, or my
Yeah.
soul. I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
Can I tell one more ladybug story?
Yeah, you sure can.
The other ladybug story was after Keira transitioned, ladybugs started to come into the houses, started coming into Quinn's room, specifically in our house. And this was dead of winter. And ladybugs she has this fake ivy on her ceiling, and they just keep coming. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. And Quinn was still, just very out of it for months. They all were. But and one day, or like right leading up to her 16th birthday, and she had all of the girls over, and they were just all over the ceiling. And then I was laying in her room the day afterwards, and I was like, Quinn, this is nuts, right? And she just said, yeah, I mean, what do you do?
It's been 4 months of ladybugs.
4 months of ladybugs. So she was very flat, unemotional about it. And she just said, it's kind of getting gross because they keep dying on my bed. And I said, oh, yeah. And I said, well, maybe you just talk to Keira and you tell her that I love you and you appreciate them, but maybe there's a different way you guys can talk. So she did that. And then the next day, the ladybugs disappeared and they've never been back.
That is just.
But there's still been a lot of other connections. So It was another just profound connection and validation of how this all seems to work, which was amazing and beautiful and heartbreaking.
All of it.
All of it.
It's literally all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I know that it's more than ladybugs, and it's also ladybugs, and it's everything. And if someone is listening, they might make some connection to something. They might start seeing ladybugs or something.
Yeah.
They'll see something. Usually people make some kind of connection. Anyways, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I'm glad we did this.
We'll do it again. Thank you for listening. This Feel Good Always. Tune in next time.
Thank you for listening to the Feel Good Always podcast. As soon as we stopped recording, Adam and Ben, they do the filming for the podcast. They walked in and they said, wow, we were at the Grand Sierra when the furries were there too. And we all just laughed because, of course, they were. Everything is connected. I had also been talking on the podcast about how Keira keeps saying, keep going, keep going, keep going. And then afterwards, we noticed the words keep going on their whiteboard. Adam said, I don't know, I just felt like I should write it. He had written it right before we got there. While recording these episodes, we have had flickering lights and buzzing sounds on the recording that they have never heard before in any of the recordings of all of the podcasts that they produce. They had to buy new microphones to be able to eliminate that sound, all to show us that there is a team helping us with these podcasts. If you found this episode meaningful, it would mean so much if you scroll down in your podcast app and tap the 5 stars. An extra bonus if you leave a short review letting us know how Feel Good Always is touching your life. If you do that, it helps more people find these messages of hope, connection, and healing. You can also follow us on all major social media platforms under the handle @FeelGoodAlwaysPodcast. We share a ton of signs over there too. Keep following along. There's so much more to come. And remember, we get good at feeling so that we can feel good always.